The wind should have been harmless, a breeze sweeping through a panicked crowd. But in that moment, it felt alive. It howled like a wounded animal, spinning through the square, throwing ash into faces and choking out breath. For a moment, the fire hesitated. The flames bent sideways, away from her. The rope around her wrists fluttered, loosened, and her eyes began to glow, faintly, just for a heartbeat, as if something ancient, something older than the village, older than fear itself, had opened behind them. Then someone shouted, "She's doing it! She's cursing us!" And a moment shattered. They forced the torch to the base of the stake. Flames caught again, this time with vengeance. The fire rose fast, licking the hem of her dress, devouring everything in its path. You tried to run to her. You didn't care about the hands grabbing you, the fists striking your back, the screams. All you could hear was the crackling fire and your own voice breaking in your throat. But she never screamed. Not once. She just watched you. Her lips moved as the smoke thickened, and though you couldn't hear the words, you felt them carve themselves into your soul. Love outlasts all flames. And then she was gone. The crowd didn't cheer. There was no relief. Only silence. Thick, ash-colored. Even the priest looked shaken. They tried to make you kneel. Tried to make you confess that she had bewitched you, poisoned your mind. But you refused. You wouldn't give them her name. Not even in death. You buried your rage in silence. Let them believe they'd won. But something had changed, and you felt it first that night, alone in your home. The candle beside your bed flared blue and stayed burning, though you'd never lit it. The herbs she once showed you, useless, you'd thought, began to grow where you hadn't planted them. And when you whispered her name in the dark, the air in the room turned warmer, as if she had passed through, just for a second. Then came the dreams. Not nightmares. Not quite, but visions. You saw her in the forest, walking barefoot over frost and fire. You saw the villagers turn to stone, unmoving, their mouths sewn shut. You saw yourself, burning, screaming, rising again from ash. You didn't understand at first. Not until you touched the soil beneath your window and it bloomed in your hand. Not until the old preacher's sermon turned to a stutter the moment he locked eyes with you. Not until the nightmares that had plagued the village for months suddenly stopped. Only when you were near. You didn't choose this, but you didn't run from it either. You studied her notes, the ones she kept hidden behind loose stones in the forest wall. You read the margins, her handwriting soft and delicate, yet full of power. She hadn't just gathered herbs. She had been preparing, not for vengeance, but for legacy. And somehow, she'd left it to you. They started fearing you soon after. They whispered again, but this time your name carried weight. Children were told not to look you in the eyes. Men averted their gaze in the tavern. Women crossed themselves when you passed. You didn't blame them. Fear, you'd learned, is inherited, passed down like sickness. But one day, something broke. A child, sick for weeks, lungs rattling with every breath, was carried to your door. The mother was desperate. Her eyes were red, her voice cracked. She didn't ask if you were a witch. She didn't care. She just begged. You didn't hesitate. You made the tea from the dried leaves she'd once handed you with trembling fingers. You whispered her lullaby beneath your breath as the boy slept. You pressed your palm to his chest and felt the weight lift, slowly but surely. The next morning, he ran through the village square laughing. And everything changed. People still feared you. But now they needed you too. They came at night, quietly. They brought offerings, bread, honey coins, apologies without words. And with every healed wound, every fever soothed, you felt it, her presence, like the wind behind your shoulder, like a breath on your neck. She wasn't gone. She had rooted herself in you. But power doesn't come without cost. One evening, the village elders summoned you. Same hall, same torches, same judgment in their eyes. They didn't care that you'd helped, that you'd saved lives. They only saw what you'd become. You are what she was, one of them spat, and we will not suffer another. You didn't flinch. You stood taller than you ever had. You looked them in the eye, the way she once looked at the crowd, unafraid. And you spoke, not in anger, but with truth. She was never the danger. You were. You still are. They tried to seize you, but the fire refused them. Literally, when they lunged, the torches went out. The shadows swallowed them. Their screams echoed into nothing. You stepped into the night, alone again, but not afraid. You left Salem behind, forest after forest, miles upon miles. But you carried her with you, in the wind, in the earth, in the flame that never dies. Because love, true love, isn't soft or safe. It's dangerous, uncontainable, and sometimes it burns everything down just to keep one soul alive.